GHS Roads to Mars!
We went to Dog Creek Reservoir, Gooding Heifer Dairy, Ballard's Family Dairy and Cheese, and Shady Grove.
So this soil sample is from the northwestern side of Dog Creek, otherwise known as the inlet of Dog Creek. That's where the canal feeds it. And the soil texture back there is really muddy and really thick, swampy marshland. So it was really hard for us to get the soil sample in the first place, and we couldn't get a clear water sample because of the really thick mud to get to the water. So these pictures are the inlet of Dog Creek. As you can see how swampy and thick the mud really is. It looks cracked, but that's just because there's so much mud and little moisture, because these pictures were taken over the winter. So, the mud was really thick, barely any water. We had to go through plenty of yards of really thick mud to get to the water samples themselves. But the mud, being as thick as it is, we weren't able to see through it or find any microbials or microorganisms in there because it's hard to see through. So this soil sample is from the southern side of Dog Creek, or the more public side. As you see, it's a lot drier. It's less marshy and kind of swampy than compared to the other one, or the northern side of Dog Creek. There's less chances for life here because of the fact the soil is a lot drier. As you see, it's a lot more rocky. There's a lot more twigs and kind of little pieces of just kind of shrubbery and plant life in it, kind of strung throughout. So these are pictures of the soil, of where we got the soil samples on the northern side. As you see, there's a little tiny claw from a crawdad, proving that there was support, or plenty of kind of like a support in the soil and just the kind of environment there for larger organisms than just bacteria and microorganisms. As you see, the soil though here is drier. There's a lot more sticks and twigs and kind of debris, just dead things. There's a picture there of us kind of picking up the soil sample. This is drone footage of the northern half of Dog Creek. It shows the outlet of Dog Creek had high methane detection from the little methane radar we had on the water's edge of some of the ponds. So we were able to prove that there's plenty of life or just carbon and just dying things from the water there, or at least methane emissions from just the outlet. So the northern half of Dog Creek, this is the more public side. When I mention public, I mean open to the community, as in people can come here, fish, just things like that. So it makes the kind of soil a lot drier. And here's a better view of the outlet. It's kind of further down off a hill, and it goes back quite a ways onto a kind of stream line. And these are some little tiny microorganisms, or some little jellies we found in the water, proving that there is life in the water, and plenty of there's plenty of support for just microbials and microorganisms in just in the water around there. So this is the hike some of us were taking down. We can.
At this point, we found our way over to a dairy located by one of our team members' houses. At this dairy, we took methane recording samples and found different places where different levels were prevalent. There was many places where we found high levels of methane due to the fact of the high amount of organic matter and fecal matter found at the dairy. We also found our alluvial fan at this dairy in a sewage pile behind one of the pens. In this alluvial fan, we took multiple testings that both tested the water and took soil samples so that we could dilute both samples to see if we could find forms of life. We did find one form of life, which will be coming up here in a second, which we can only identify as a crustacean due to the fact that we were not able to find out exactly what it was, other than that it was a moving, living organism that was able to live within this alluvial fan.